Everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Apex Predator, and this is part 9 to What If Deku was transported to Danmachi. Uh, so, last episode, we covered the the Apollo War Games, and the people who's probably thinking about this with the whole red light district event that happened in season 2. Yeah, season 2. Because the arrow of Orion, I'm not sure, sort of Orario, something like that. Altura. Well, the one with Artemis. I'm gonna cover that later on. But the whole red light district thing, that happens as in canon, because honestly, I'm not gonna change whatever happened there, because I'm just gonna say that while all of what they were doing was happening, Gareth and Deku were down in the dungeon, because I don't think any of the Loki Familia people were even involved in that event. So we're moving on to let's just see. So that's what's going on. Sorry, I just had to watch the rest of the recap so I know what's going on. So the whole red light district goes as is. Forgot what the goddess of whatever she was. Yeah, she died, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. So that all happens, and we go to a few days after that, while Belle is doing some quite heavy training with Deku, and Eyes is with Bet in the lower floors of 20 and 21. Not doing too much training because of the previous day. Bet joined in their training because he thought, why not? It couldn't be that hard. And he was sorely mistaken. So he wants to take it easy. Deku thinks on the reports of what happened in the red light district, and he just thinks it's sickening to think that such a beautiful world can have such ugly things like prostitution. So he just disregards that in the back of his mind, and they end their training and go back to Belle's mansion so he can have a chat with Haruhime? Yeah, Haruhime. Or, no, not Haruhime. Yeah, Haruhime. Cute, not prostitute, fox girl. God, I hate my life now. When did I go wrong? But anyway, so he goes there and he asks a few questions. How was her life there? And basically other questions to make sure that no one else has been harmed or affected in a very harsh and bad way. So he's glad to know that she hasn't uh, come across anyone that has been affected in such a bad way, because they're all, used to it. After, no, I'm just not gonna say it because I really just don't like the topic of that. But anyway, so while they were there, he eventually leaves to go back to his house, checking if Eyes has returned to the home, and she has. Bet is running away because he doesn't want to do any training. And Deku just chuckles under his breath. And then they go inside and have dinner. The next day, Hestia does a favor for someone else. I completely forgot who she was doing the favor for. Yeah, actually her business, wasn't it? I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm just really out of it for a few days. Guess it's because I'm starting school again. But anyway. So she goes outside Orario and gets kidnapped by Ares. And Belle was concerned and walking around to see where his goddess was, and they come across Loki, who said she was picked up and taken away by some guy. And I think we should try and get her back, being nonchalant, because honestly she doesn't like Hestia. And about that time, they met up with Eyes and Deku going on a date, and they join in the mission to get her back, and they're going with that. They gather a few other people and then they head off. Deku thinking to himself, I wonder why. Because I have so much control over One For All, and the first wielder and Nana Shimura have already told me that about the percentages of One For All, but I don't feel anything anymore. It's like they're gone. He just thinking in his head while they're traveling, and I feel One For All fading. It's like I have already given it away to someone. I don't feel like it's anyone in this world, because I would feel that. I know how it feels to have someone else own One For All, as in own One For All by All Might owning it, honestly. So maybe One For All isn't supposed to be in this world. So I'm pretty sure I'm probably gonna lose the quirks eventually. But who knows? I might just lose the ability to pass it down. So he puts those thoughts to the back of his head, and within the My Hero Academia world, All Might feels the embers of One for All lighting up inside of him. Him being extremely confused, thinking that it's been, for them, it's been about 3 weeks since time flows different, but it's been 3 weeks since he's been gone. But if he's dead, he would have gotten One for All back immediately. But is he dead? Him thinking to himself, saying, no, he's strong. There's no way he would just die on us. But we need One for All for this world, and for someone to become the new symbol of peace, seeing as Midoriya isn't here. Him being cut off by a subconscious thought of Deku. Well, Deku's thoughts subconsciously going into his head. Just the mental belief that has been subconsciously stated within Deku's self, that I hope if All Might has the embers of One for All back, seeing as I don't hear any of the past users, I feel like he has them back or something. But I hope he can give it to someone worthy and someone not going into this world, honestly. That would be a bit awkward. Him chuckling to mentally chuckling. So All Might gets this message, One for All being a little connection between the two, and he decides to give it to Mirio, and instead of Deku and the War Arc thing, goes completely different without many of the 1A students in there. Major spoils, sorry. But everything happens differently, just without Midori and a few others. I'm not sure, yeah. And Mirio has One for All now, okay. But anyway, so they're traveling and they come across a few soldiers from Ares' army. So Deku just makes a few earth and water bullets and shoots them at the soldiers, knocking them out, not killing them, because he don't roll that way. But yeah, so they're just knocked out and have to be retreated back to their base. As they go past the retrieval team, as they try to fight them, they can't, because Deku slams his foot into the ground, breaking it like he did in the Overhaul versus Deku fight, when he was about to be stabbed by thousands of concrete spikes. So he just does that and blocks all of their magic and arrows and physical attacks. So they keep going, and they eventually meet up with a Ares with someone over his shoulder. It's like, oh shite. Well, I guess I gotta fight you guys. I'm done losing to you who you call it, Loki. This isn't going to stand. If you want her back, you gotta pay me by admitting defeat. And so Deku's like, okay, this is stupid. Honestly, keep her. I don't care. I'm just here for Bell. He's the one that wants to take her. As Bell is quickly right behind Ares and basically kicks him in the back, sending him forward, and Deku kicking his face, knocking his lights out. 'Cause I'm not sure how strong Ares is, but Deku's, kind of a badass. 'Cause I made him that way. 'Cause I like him OP. But anyway. So, they retrieve Hestia and go back. And Deku asks Loki about the war between you and the Ares Familia. And she tells him that that war's been going on for a while. I think he just got fed up with losing to us all the time. So he kidnapped someone that you don't necessarily care about, right? And she's like, yeah. Oh, I'm not complaining. So, Deku, Ainz and Bell don't go to that village, but they still get warned about the three magic beasts and the hero that has to defeat all of them. The two Behemoth and Leviathan already been defeated by the Zeus and Freya Familia when they were strong, as the recap says. But anyway, so that all happens, and this is where the Artemis thing happens. Okay, so Deku is wondering, isn't it about time we have that festival that we have now and then around this time? And I was like, oh, the festival, yeah, we should go. We should go. I guess it would be fun. Well, let's just hope there's not too many distractions. Bet. Annoying Bet. If he gets drunk again, I'm gonna punch his lights out so far out of his head. I can't speak. I'm gonna punch his lights so far out of his head, he's gonna travel 3 miles to find a telescope to see them on the moon. And she asks, what's a telescope? Don't worry about that. It's a thing from my world. And she's curious, because he hasn't talked as much as he used to about his world. So she asks him about what his life was like, what technological advancements have been done, and all sorts like that. Questions that she didn't ask the first time around when they started to get to know each other. So, uh, yeah, they head to the festival and everything happens. They reach the spear in the crystal or ice thing, trying to pull it out, and Eins Wallenstein tries, and she's just nah, I cannot. I guess I'm not the right person for it. As Deku goes up there and he tries to pull it out, as he literally just puts his foot down onto the crystal and tries to pull the spear out, and literally the stone broke under his foot, and well, that didn't work. He just puts it down as there's a small chunk of crystal that's been crushed off of the thing. Well, I guess I wasn't chosen, but I guess I'm strong enough to break the crystal. Anyway, as Bell goes up, and he touches the spear, and the spear is broken out of the crystal immediately, and some people are like, that's a fluke. Deku weakened it for ya. It's like, nah, bro. If that thing was weakened by me, I would have already taken the thing out, but I wasn't selected as a person to pick the spear up. He was. As the ones that were doubting Bell, just shut up. And they get informed of what's happening and everything about Artemis, and the next day they head off on their flying familiars or something. Yeah, the familiars, not familia, the familiars, or whatever you want to call those. So they head off with the extra person of Deku, going with Eyes and the rest of that. And they head off, and the same thing happens with the weird super scorpions, whatever they were, that were infected by the monster that took over Artemis. But they take care of that, as basically half of them were shot by shadow bullets, because they landed in the forest to try and help out, and they're in the woods, so he decided to use the shadows to make his shadow bullets stronger. So what he did is he just shot a bunch of them and killed all of them, and the giant, the he threw this spear. Bell threw this spear and made that giant crater, the trail and crater leading up to the crater, yeah. And later on, while they're doing some more flying, and they meet up, and they get to the Darklands, where the monster is being has been inhabiting, and instead of the familiars getting absolutely destroyed, Deku decides to jump off of uh, his familiar, and decides to create giant elemental bullets of all types. Out of the stronger ones, the more physical ones, so there's more weight and power to them. So he shoots a bunch of them and colliding with uh, the spears of light that came from the sky, destroying all of the familiars, the flying creatures that they came in. And basically, canon happens with the extra two people. And yeah, so they meet up with uh, the Hermes Familia. And basically, the Deku picks up the thought process of Hermes, and he can tell by the look on his face when he sees Deku and Artemis, no, Bell and Artemis talking, and he can tell that something's wrong, so he asks Hermes, what does Bell have to do to destroy the monster? Hermes' eyes widen and is like, how did you know? The look on your face. What's gonna happen, Hermes? Hermes sighs and make sure to keep this between us until we get too close, you could say. Okay. What is it? What is going to happen? What does Bell have to do that is so bad that it has you having that face? That look on your face. The face of guilt. You feel guilty about something because you know what's gonna happen. What is it, Hermes? Hermes explains that he would have to kill Artemis, the real Artemis, to defeat the creature. And like he gets the full explanation of what happened and what he knows, so he just covers his mouth in shock and worry. I feel so bad. Are you sure we shouldn't just tell him now? Well, he might break down already. We'll have him break down now instead of while we're fighting the thing. If he breaks down now, he won't have to break down while we're trying to defend ourselves against the giant beast that has consumed the power of a goddess. Are you understanding me, Hermes? Hermes just looks down in a little bit of shame and guilt, but he understands. So, Deku and Hermes walk up to the two that have their feet soaked in water, just standing there talking to each other, having that conversation. Once that conversation is over, then they come over. And they both stare them down. We need to talk, Belle. And I guess you too, Artemis. So they both walk over to them. And Belle says, "Is something wrong, Izuku? 'Cause I know that face. I've trained with you a lot. Something's wrong." He sighs and, well, we have a bit of news that we need to tell you about. Well, mainly, he has to tell you about. Okay, really, dude. So you had to get me to say the thing, but then you don't do it yourself. Hey, bro. I'm just here because I informed you of my thoughts, so I'm seeing it through. You're the one that has the finer inner details about the shit, okay? So, you explain. Hermes sighs and gives the explanation. And Belle just stands there in shock and disbelief that he has to kill the real body and person of Artemis to save the rest of Aurario, because that giant second moon / bow with arrow, and all the monsters are in an uproar. That's still happening, and Deku just gets this feeling of danger, because a lot of theories say that one of the past users had danger sense, and that's pretty much all I've gathered from the One for All users. I'm not sure about the others, but yeah. So he has Black Whip, Float, and Danger Sense. It's basically like Spider Sense, but without the extra strength, grippy fingers and feet. Besides all that, so Deku sighs and tells Artemis, when were you gonna tell him about what he actually has to do? Because honestly, right now I feel ashamed to have you two as gods. Why wouldn't you tell someone that they have to kill you? You do realize that he would break down, because right now you're just making it worse for him. You're trying to, well, right now, I'm not sure about your intentions, but what you're doing now is building up a relationship, building up a friendship. Yep. He's gonna kill you, the real you, not just this excess energy that's been leaked off of your real body. So, when were you going to tell him? While we're fighting the giant beast? He could break down there and not be able to do anything. And as they're talking, Belle's doing his old breaking down, as Deku explained to Hermes. You should give more thought to when things like this come up. Honestly, if you guys really thought that it's gonna be so easy for him to kill someone he's built up a relationship with, you're sorely mistaken. He's a kind-hearted kid, not a ruthless being that has only killing on his mind. Because that is the only type of person that could ever kill you with the circumstances at hand. So, Deku, as I sighed for him to express that he sighed, Deku picks up Bal as he has his head down in despair, and Deku gives him some words of advice. Think of it as saving her, okay? That's the body that you've been talking to is not the real her. It's basically a part of her that's been separated from the main body. So don't think much of it. The person that you have accumulated a friendship with is suffering. You have the ability, the weapon, to release her from her pain. Think of it like that. Because honestly, I'm sorry. Honestly, I would never kill my friends. But if there was no choice, and they were suffering, my mentality now is way different from when I was back in my own world. I would kill any of my friends if they were suffering and there was no other choice at all. If there was a slight chance, just a sliver, I would take it. But if there was absolutely none, I would kill them. Him having a heart-to-heart, and Bell finding out that ever since he got here, he's been colder than when he first got here. Because he's killed so many monsters, and he's character development plot. Sorry. But he's gone through a lot, so he's built up a personality that is strong-willed and colder, so he doesn't get affected too much by killing monsters. So they get back to the camp. The two gods think about what they've done. Well, Hermes and the part god. So the next day they head out, and while everyone else of their party were fighting corrupted beings and monsters, the main team heads into the dungeon, you could say, and heads into the place where the giant monster is, and they fight through a few corrupted scorpions. Yeah, so they fight a few corrupted scorpions, them destroying all the eggs thanks to Deku and his fire bullets. Deku thinking to himself, the only reason why I'm so powerful is because I have the power of other people. I've had their souls, their essence inside of my being. How many souls in one being? does it have to take for one man to become a god? He thinks to himself, as he's thinking of the possibility of taking one for Bell. What if he could destroy God with 8 other souls within him? Well, he just puts that thought to the back of his head, with the other thought from the beginning of this video. But while they're walking towards the giant beast and seeing a few of the corpses of the Artemis Familia, they just stand there in a bit of silence as Deku tries to think of something else, brings back the 2 ideas that he put to the back of his head, and he realizes that his last theory that he had in his head wouldn't actually be true, because he's pretty sure that they're not there anymore. So he thinks to himself, well, I'll try my best to help, I guess. I need to make sure that Bell doesn't have to do this. To the best of my ability, I will help him. Well, come on, what's the harm in taking the life of someone, of something that has the power of a god within it, when you've basically dealt 2 of the biggest hits to a level 58 floor boss. So I'm pretty sure that I could do some damage. Well, let's just get this over and done with. I really don't like this place. It's making this danger sense really just harm the ever-living out of my head. There's so many danger signs within my head that I can't even count them. There's so many dangerous things, like I just can't get it out of my head. As he tries to turn off the danger sense quirk, succeeding, because I'm just gonna say that, I don't know, he can do that. Water break. So they start to charge at the beast, and they take a few hits. Deku not doing the first giant hit he did with the giant floor boss on 58, 8th floor. So he just does a few bullets, mostly light, because the thing is a corrupt being. So he's pretty sure that light and more lighter attacks and not darker attacks do more damage. So he's doing that, and to himself he thinks, well, I do have a few mana potions on me. I'm not sure if it's enough though. have gotten stronger, maybe. Damn it. I really have to do this, don't I? So he runs all the way back to where Hermes is with Artemis, and he just stands there. Do you guys have any more mana potions? Because I might need them. Artemis doesn't have any, but Hermes has a few. Have them on standby for me. I'm gonna do one of my biggest attacks. And so, Hermes is confused because he doesn't know the attack that he's about to do. Neither does Artemis. But Ainz sees the bullets forming within the air, and she sees the magnitude, and she immediately knows, I know what he's doing. So she signals and yells out for everyone to take a step back and use long range attacks. There's a big attack coming from Deku, and Deku's just doing the hundreds of bullets in the air. Then he turns his hands once again for the second time in his life. He creates the hyper elemental cannon, and basically this one is a lot stronger because he's also well, for this one, honestly, I'm just gonna put maximum effort, and he doesn't shoot the bullet yet. He has the thing ready, but what he does is he grabs the very back of the bullets and digs his fingers in with black whip into the super compressed earth between that and the I think it was the ice. Yeah, the ice. No, the shadow. Yeah, so the shadows and the earth. So he has his fingers between those, using black whip to keep him on, and he sends the bullet, shooting him with it. And everyone sees this. Artemis and Hermes are shocked to see what's transpiring. And as the bullet starts to use all the elements and it gets finally to ice, the ice melts, basically shoots out and destroys some of the crystal from Artemis. And Deku charges up a 80% smash with earth and fire enhancement and lightning fist or thunder fist. And once the shadows are gone, he lets go of the super compressed earth bullet, and the thing goes all the way to like a centimeter away from her chest, where she is. He brings back his fist, and within the crater inside of the crystal of the giant beast, he hits one side of the crater, breaking the thing in half, completely destroying the crystal, freeing Artemis. And so he has healing bullets just in case he needs to heal or revive if any possible. So he destroys the monster. Like one half of it is completely erased with that half of the crystal, and the other half is crumbling away with the lack of itself and the crystal that's holding her. So Deku grabs Artemis and jumps away, and he has his arm around her back as her head is laying on his shoulder, facing behind him, and he charges up about 10-20 healing magic bullets, and he just shoots them into her, trying to heal her up or trying to give her life energy. And it works. He can feel her heartbeat. He can hear her breathing as he lands down near the other Artemis as she's fading away and sinking into the actual Artemis. And she says, "Thank you so much. I can't believe this. You actually saved her without killing me. I thank you so much. Honestly, I didn't think it was ever possible to kill a god without a holy weapon or a holy weapon. I thought it was impossible, but you proved me wrong." As she smiles and fades away into her real body, as he lays her down and Belle comes running with Ainz and everyone else. So, Deku commands Belle to carry Artemis, and he's glad that he can hear her breathing and feel her warmth, knowing that Deku is such an amazing person, so strong that he destroyed something that consumed the power of a god and still saved the goddess's life. He's proud to know that he knows him, that he was trained by him. So he's thankful. So they start heading out. And yeah. So they meet up with the others as the others are healing and trying to catch their breath from the long fight they've had. And they regroup and start heading back. Time skip about a day or 2 or 3 days until they get back to Arario. Deku just thinks to himself, I can't believe I destroyed something that has the power of a god. I wonder if that makes me a god or a god slayer. Either or is fine, honestly. And a lot of people from the reports have heard about their quest and adventure to the Darklands. and they're surprised that a level 4, nearly level 5, they don't know it's level 5 now, around level 5, I don't know, I'll tell that later. But they're surprised, and honestly Freya's like, it's so weird. He's become stronger, but the rest of the souls within him are gone. Ugh, he's not important anymore. His soul is so boring now. As she turns her attention back to Bal, as in original canon. And they head home. Deku goes to the mansion, the Loki Familia mansion, and gets his stats updated. And they see that he is level S on everything. No, level S on everything besides defense, because he hasn't taken a lot of hits from any of the monsters. So he's kind of lacking a little bit in that, so he's like, you know what? It's still a B, honestly. So I'm not too fussy about it. You can upgrade me to a level 5. You know, kid, you are one of the our world's greatest accomplishments. Why do you say that? Okay, hear me out. When you first got here, you were at default a level 3. And within like a month and a half, maybe even 2 months, I guess, you've grown to be literally 2 levels higher. How the hell did you do that? I don't know, just train. Honestly, I can't get you, kid. Oh, maybe it's because where I'm from, we're more of an evolved human, you could say. We might be gaining strength, muscle, skill faster than you guys do. Loki being like, you say what now? It's like, nothing. I didn't say anything. Well, okay, so are you gonna upgrade me or not? Well, fine. As she signs papers for the guild to acknowledge him as a level 5, as he's upgraded to level 5 on his status, having his defense at an E, while the rest of his stuff is at a D. So he goes back home. Well, he goes out, and Einstex goes and does her thing. And her stats are that she's a level 6 with a D to C stats. And she goes out and heads home with Deku. Bal gets to his goddess, and goddess Hestia sees Artemis, as she's wondering like, what did you two do to each other? As she's putting on her teasing, perverted teasing face, you could say, wherever that little creepy smile that she does. So he says, "Oh, no, nothing, nothing. Oh, let's set her down for now in the bed." As he sets her down in one of the guest beds, and Hestia waits. While Bal is sleeping, Hestia sleeps on the chair in the same room as Artemis. The next day, Artemis wakes up, and while that's being done, Bal has woken up, gotten his stuff ready for the day, and comes into the room and sees Artemis awake. And so he quickly wakes up Hestia, and they talk. They reminisce about the past, Hestia and Artemis, while the rest of the conversation is thinking how to thank Deku and everything like that. Like what's happening this time around and all sorts of stuff like that. So, I'm not gonna delve into season 3, because to be honest, that's still coming out, and I am not here to give any more spoilers for another anime, I guess. But I think, honestly, I may have done a lot of mistakes in this what if I've done, but yeah, the very this episode is probably gonna have the whatchamacallit, the, how do I say this, darn it. So this is the end of the video. Everyone has a happy ending. This is the end. So what happens is that this last video is gonna be yeah, this is gonna have a thumbnail, you could say. Yeah, a thumbnail, hopefully. I'm not sure if I can get it right, but anyway, so this is gonna have the thumbnail for the for it. And I guess I'll see you in a completely different what if. Thank you for staying with me for this entire hour and the other videos I've created. You know, just knowing that 2 people liked my last video is honestly the smallest bit of support, helps me, honestly. So thank you for watching till the end, and have a wonderful day.